Welcome to the CISO Daily Update.
Millions of U.S. voter data exposed in 13 misconfigured databases. A cybersecurity researcher discovered 4.6 million Illinois voter records exposed in unsecured databases, revealing sensitive data like names, addresses, dates of birth, and social security numbers. The data was publicly accessible due to database misconfigurations. The researcher identified 13 misconfigured databases linked to Platinum Technology Resource, which provides election services. Following responsible disclosure, the databases were secured. However, the duration of the exposure and any unauthorized access is unknown. Hackers attempt to sell the personal data of 3 billion people, resulting from an April data breach. Hackers attempted to sell personal data of 2.9 billion people exposed in an April breach at National Public Data for $3.5 million. A class action lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida claims the data breach compromised sensitive information like social security numbers. Researchers verified the data's authenticity, noting it excluded data from those who used opt-out services. Surge in Magniber ransomware attacks impact home users worldwide. A surge in Magniber ransomware attacks is encrypting home users' devices globally with ransom demands starting at $1,000. Since its inception in 2017, Magniber targeted individuals via methods like fake updates and Trojan software. Since July 20, 2024, nearly 720 victims were reported on just 2 media outlets. When initiated, the ransomware appends random extensions to files and issues ransom notes with unique URLs for payment. Users are advised against using illegal software cracks and key generators, as these are common malware distribution channels. City of Columbus offers credit monitoring to employees after massive cyberattack hits government facilities. Just over 2 weeks ago, a cyberattack hit Columbus, Ohio, prompting city officials to action to protect critical systems. The Resida ransomware group claimed responsibility, demanding $1.9 million for 6.5 terabytes of stolen data, including employee logins and emergency service application data. The breach was initiated when an employee downloaded a malicious file, which led to the city disconnecting its internet to contain the threat. In response, Columbus is offering credit monitoring to all employees, as some have already reported compromises. Mayor Andrew Ginther confirmed data theft as federal investigators continue to assess the full impact. DOJ and FTC sue TikTok for violating children's privacy laws. The U.S. Department of Justice and Federal Trade Commission sued TikTok for violating children's privacy laws, alleging the platform knowingly allowed underage users to create accounts and share content without parental consent. The lawsuit claims TikTok collected personal information from children under 13 without proper notification, breaching the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act and a 2019 consent order. Despite TikTok's assertions of age-appropriate safeguards, the agencies accused the company of inadequate age verification, data misuse for targeted advertising, and failure to delete children's information upon request. The platform has 170 million U.S. users and faces mounting pressure amid national security debates and potential bans. Avtech camera vulnerability actively exploited in the wild, CISA warns. CISA issued a warning about an actively exploited, unpatched Avtech camera vulnerability, CVE 2024-7029, CVSS 8.8, that allows attackers to inject and execute commands remotely without authentication. This flaw affects Avtech AVM 1203 IP cameras running firmware versions Full Image 10.23.10, 07, 10.11, 10.09, and prior, and likely impacts other IP cameras and NVR products. Users are advised to mitigate risks by limiting network exposure, placing devices behind firewalls, using updated VPNs for secure remote access, and conducting thorough risk assessments. Notably, multiple botnets, including Mirai and Death botnets, target Avtech devices. Linux kernel impacted by new SLUBStick cross-cache attack. Researchers from Graz University of Technology unveiled a new cross-cache attack on the Linux kernel named SLUBStick, boasting a 99% success rate in transforming limited heap vulnerabilities into arbitrary memory read and write capabilities. Demonstrated on Linux kernel versions 5.9 and 6.2 using 9 existing CVEs, SLUBStick works against both 32-bit and 64-bit systems and bypasses modern defenses like SMAP, SMAP, and KSLR. This method exploits heap vulnerabilities through a timing side channel, greatly enhancing cross-cache exploitation effectiveness. The attack allows for privilege escalation and container escapes. Microsoft patched a critical edge flaw that led to arbitrary code execution. Microsoft addressed critical vulnerabilities in its Chromium-based Edge browser, versions 127.0.65, 33.88, and 89. 3 major flaws were patched: a data validation issue in Dawn CVE 2024-7256, allowing arbitrary code execution, an uninitialized use vulnerability in Dawn CVE 2024-6990, enabling out-of-bounds memory access, and a web transport feature flaw, CVE 2024-7255, permitting memory access exploitation. All 3 vulnerabilities could be triggered by specially crafted HTML content, potentially compromising system security. Microsoft has released patches to fix these issues, urging users to update immediately through Windows Update or the official website. Security bypass vulnerability exposed in Rockwell Automation Logix controllers. A critical security bypass vulnerability, CVE 2024-6242, was discovered in Rockwell Automation's Logix controllers, affecting various models within the Control Logix and Guard Logix families. The flaw exploits a weakness in the trusted slot feature of the Control Logix 1756 chassis, allowing attackers to circumvent security measures and potentially modify user projects and device configurations. Rated with a CVSS v3.1 base score of 8.4, this vulnerability enables attackers to exploit the CIP protocol to jump between local backplane slots and bypass intended security boundaries. Rockwell Automation released firmware updates to address the issue and recommends users upgrade affected devices immediately. For systems that can't be upgraded, mitigations include limiting CIP commands, minimizing network exposure, and employing firewalls. Organizations fail to log 44% of cyber attacks. Major exposure gaps remain. Organizations are failing to log 44% of cyber attacks, leaving major exposure gaps, according to PICAS Security. A report based on over 136 million simulated cyber attacks revealed that 40% of environments allow attack paths leading to domain admin access, which grants attackers full control over IT infrastructure. Only 56% of attacks were logged and 12% triggered alerts, highlighting deficiencies in threat detection. Endpoint security gaps were significant, especially for macOS, which only prevented 23% of attacks. Organizations should adopt an assume breach approach to mitigate risks, enhance detection engineering, and continuously monitor and evaluate security systems.
Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe to our newsletter at CISOheadlines.com. Until next time, stay curious.